It was supposed to be just another day in Lagos. A sweltering Tuesday, packed with traffic, sweat, and the usual complaints about fuel scarcity. The kind of day that Nigerians have learned to survive with a shrug and a prayer. But beneath the surface, beyond the blaring car horns and angry commuters, a hidden empire was collapsing. And it all started with one tiny mistake. Today, we pull back the curtain. This is the untold story of the fuel subsidy scam. Fuel subsidy scams, the untold stories. Between 2009 and 2011, Nigeria, Africa's largest oil producer, spent trillions of naira subsidizing petroleum products. It was sold to the public as a relief package, a lifeline for the struggling masses. But the truth? It was a perfect crime carried out in broad daylight. And no one was supposed to notice. Fatima Lawal was no one special. At least, that's what her bosses at the Petroleum Equalization Fund thought. Mid-level, quiet and a stickler for detail. Perfect for the mind-numbing job of verifying subsidy claims. But Fatima had a secret. A relentless curiosity, and a refusal to look away when things didn't add up. One evening, buried in mountains of payment vouchers, she spotted something odd. 18 billion naira payment for the vessel MV Freedom. Routine. Maybe. Except for one thing, MV Freedom had sunk in the Indian Ocean 3 years ago. Fatima's hands trembled slightly as she cross-referenced shipping records. Over and over. The vessel was gone. Yet, here it was, supposedly delivering millions of liters of petrol to Nigerian shores every month. And MV Freedom wasn't alone. A whole fleet of ghost ships, collecting billions, offloading phantom fuel at invisible depots. The deeper she looked, the uglier it got. Companies with no storage facilities. Payments for fuel imported from countries that didn't even produce crude oil. Signatures from dead executives. Stamped approvals made after office hours, from offices that had burned down months earlier. It wasn't sloppiness. It was intentional. A grand, sprawling conspiracy, engineered at the highest levels. At the center of the storm was Chief Bola Okonkwo, an oil tycoon who funded presidential campaigns, built cathedrals, and donated to orphanages. To the public, he was a saint. Behind closed doors, he was the kingpin, the maestro orchestrating the biggest financial fraud Nigeria had ever seen. And then there was Senator Fix-It Dawodu, the man who could make any problem or person disappear. Fatima wasn't alone for long. Anonymous notes appeared on her desk, "Be careful." Her phone rang at odd hours. Strange cars idled outside her modest Sorelle flat. Then the first real warning. A dead cat left on her doorstep. Its throat slit. But Fatima didn't stop. Instead, she made copies. Meanwhile, Inspector Kolu Izenwa, a frustrated anti-corruption agent, received an anonymous tip. A map. A depot. Coordinates. When he and his men raided the location, they found nothing. No fuel. No records. Only heavily armed guards, with badges issued by the Navy itself. It was clear. The route ran all the way to the top. Adikona Aideji, an investigative journalist, published the first part of an explosive story linking subsidy payments to ghost companies. Days later, his car plunged off the Third Mainland Bridge. Police called it drunk driving. Those who knew Adikona knew better. Determined, Fatima reached out to Inspector Kolu. They agreed to meet at a quiet cafe in Yoba by 7 p.m. sharp. She never showed up. Last seen stuck in traffic near Ikorodu Road. Boxed in by 2 black SUVs. Never seen again. Was Fatima silenced forever? Or had she left behind a ticking time bomb that could bring down giants? What would you have done if you found yourself in her shoes? Tell us in the comments below. Who do you think ordered Fatima's disappearance? Can true justice ever prevail in Nigeria? Would you risk your life for the truth? Clapperboard, stay tuned for part 2, where the conspiracy deepens beyond imagination. In the world of fuel and fortunes, nothing is ever as it seems.